What's up, creative community, and welcome back to Open Class Doodles, episode 35. And yes, you might want to take a look right now at your calendar and think, hey, this is a Monday. What the hell is doing, the coach right now online transmitting an Open Class Doodles? Well, the fact is this. We thought about opening up our program a little bit and giving you guys more content throughout the week, and also covering more important topics. And so therefore, get used to it. We're going to have an Open Class Doodles on Monday. Then we're going to have one Open Class Doodle on Thursday, Tactical Doodles for Success at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, like always. And then we're going to have a brand new show tomorrow, which is actually an old show, just with a new name, right? We're just putting a new design on top of it and claim it's something new, which is going to be Three Sages, the Three Sages and the Time Machine. Three Sages and a Time Machine. Yes. So today's episode of Open Class Doodles is going to be about the future, about the outlook of the program over here at the COACHMC studio. It's going to be about our new topics, because we're definitely going to broaden our spectrum as well. We're going to widen our cultural horizon, going to try to give you guys some more information, and always helping you to be on the forefront of development, of creativity, of knowledge, and of performances. So without any further ado, let's jump in today's episode of Blockchain and Creativity, and let's see what's cooking. Yes, this is a brand new program, and this is a brand new show, and it's something that we're really excited about. Why? Because, at the COACHMC studio, we always love to kind of take a look into new things. We are discoverers, we are researchers, we are finders, we are archaeologists. And so while, thinking about, this year and the topics that we want to cover, and also what we're already adding to our roster, I thought about different things. And we have on Tuesday right now something like a very habitual and kind of returning show that it used to be an Open Class Doodles, but for the last couple of weeks, we are always coming together with Ryan Roger Athane Dragon Slayer commentaries to kind of give you some information and to shed some light into the mystery of history. And this show has developed itself in something completely new and funny, and our creative community seems to love it and to like it a lot and to enjoy it a lot. And we want to continue on that path, but it felt somehow kind of weird and also wrong, flat out wrong to call it an Open Class Doodles, because it has become like some sort of a history show in itself, and therefore it has a completely different dynamic. And hi, Robin. How are you, my good friend? Hey, a warm welcome to Robin, who needs it. He's from Finland. He needs some warmth and some sun rays. Hope you're doing good. Hey, Rosita, thanks so much for the chat, for being here. I was just explaining, guys. So Tuesday in the future is going to be always 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's going to be Three Sages in the Time Machine. It's going to be a show where it's all about history, archaeology, weird discoveries, of course, always entertainment, but basically it's going to focus a lot on the stories of the past. And I was thinking, since we have stories from the past, we also need stories from the future. Right? We need also stories that are coming from the future. I mean, I love looking into the past. I think history is one of those main important things, right? That make us realize where we at on our timeline, and kind of understanding the patterns from yesterday make us, they will enable us to make better decisions today, to have a brighter future tomorrow. So therefore, the past is super important, but we also want to look into the future. What is coming from the future? Right? And we can already take a look. We are already also in a way able to take a look in the future, to make some assumptions, to kind of speculate about what's coming up. And there's always something exciting something happening in the future. And we're working towards the future constantly, especially here in the US, where we're so focused on technology and development and new inventions, and we are a country of inventors and technicians and engineers and disruptive technologies, right? And so also helping us as a creative community to position ourselves with our products, with where we want to go, where we want to live, where we want to work, what kind of, different options do we have for our work, for our creativity. Hey, Pat, somehow I knew you would show up. Thank you so much for being part of the show. I had this hunch, Pat. I don't know why. I just had this hunch. Pat would stop by today. Also, welcome to the Facebook and to the Instagram community. Guys, by the way, we are over here on YouTube. So if you want to help the channel to grow and kind of give us a little bit of your support, why don't you come over? Yes. Why don't you come over here? Right? Come over here to YouTube and show us your love. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel, give us, some support over here, and also connect to the people, in the chat. So join the live on YouTube. It just goes such a long way to support our channel, our endeavors. It just, it gives us a boost, especially in the beginning of the week. And it gives you also the possibility to see content getting recommended to you by the YouTube algorithm, by all the other crazy algorithms, right? That you will cherish and you will value and that you are interested the most. Instead of getting rubbish recommended that you don't actually need or that you want to see, why don't you come over here to YouTube, smash the like button, and maybe even subscribe to the channel if you haven't so far. If you're interested in those tips, tricks, and strategies in order to have a successful, beautiful, creative living in the future, it doesn't matter what type of creative, life or you have in mind. And so therefore you help yourself seeing the better content in the future. You help us to grow as a channel and to spread God's word, the message, right? So thank you so much. What's up, Miguel? The skeleton. Hey, are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, Miguel the skeleton. Cool profile name, by the way. I'm very good. Thanks indeed. Likewise, I hope as well. And so, like I said, Tuesday is going to be our history day. Monday, because it's the start of the week, it's the moon day, right? We have to look into the future of the week. We have to look into the future of what we want to do. So therefore, Monday is going to be our future day, if that makes any sense, where we're going to focus more on future topics and seeing outlooks and maybe also covering news, entertainment stuff, of course. But most likely we will also on Monday speculate a lot about what's going on. And then on Thursday, so far, always 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be always our open class doodles, tactical doodles for success, where we're going to have career strategies, acting tips, my doodles, my drawings, kind of figuring stuff out, where we're going to talk about pretty much everything. I would say the present. So we have future Monday, past Tuesday, present on Thursday. And then between, we promise you guys, we're going to drop way more content than we did so far. It just took us also a while to get, kind of settled into the Miami lifestyle, into the area. We just moved here across the ocean from Europe. So for us, it was also a year of exploration, kind of settle in what's working, what's not working, and finding our time. And so therefore, we needed that. We would have loved to produce and publish way more content on YouTube. Actually, we have tons of content over here that just needs some editing. Right, editor-in-chief, because there is someone else who's running this channel with me, right? And she needs to edit this stuff. But jokes aside, we have a lot of work, and it took us a while to get settled in with our flow over here. So therefore, there's a lot of content coming up. We have also talks on acting, where we interview coaches, actors, creative people, writers, martial arts, combat choreographers, all sorts of beautiful creative people from the industry from all over the globe. And we're gonna, publish our talks on acting on our channel as well. There is already one out that is beautiful. We have a beautiful talks on acting right now with Lucy Lennox, a great casting director who's also the founder of Actors Home, which is a great network for actors and performers. You can actorshome.com, great resource, by the way, check it out. And many other talks on acting coming up. We have our monthly masterclasses. The next one is this Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, before the summer break. Then we're going to rearrange the masterclass program as well. And of course, I'm part of the Saturday Night Hypnosis Crazy Bigotry panel every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So therefore, this is going to be a year packed with great knowledge, fundamental fun, super informative stuff, great resources, tips, strategies, everything that you need in order to be a successful, creative, and entertainer and performer with a remarkable product that you want to present in order to impact your audience long term, right? Because it's all about creating that long-term legacy. Thank you so much, Robin Jansen. If someone deserves it, it's you. You've been working your ass off all the time. Respect. Thank you so much for noticing and acknowledging. Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, we've been working a lot and we're continuously working, guys. The reason also why we want to launch this before we get into today's topic, which is like a topic that's going to be, you know, be part of the channel of our narrative for the future as well. Is because we are daily researchers, and that goes without saying. It's like 365 days throughout the year I'm doing research, sometimes more, sometimes less, but it's every day where I try to inform myself. And also Alessandra, the other graceful part of this the COACHMC studio wacky endeavor, we are constantly on the search, on the hunt, on the quest of getting better information in new vibes, new currents, in order to inform you guys more effectively and be always on the pulse of time in order to give you something amazing, something new, something exciting. Right? So without any further ado, I would say, let's jump in after this quite long intro. I'm sorry for that, but it was really necessary to kind of give people a little bit our timeline, our programming schedule, and what they can expect from the channel in the future and in the present. So thanks for listening and having the patience so far. So let's jump right into it. What is a blockchain? Why has it anything to do with creativity? How is this all connected? Why am I talking about this? I mean, this is a performance and acting channel, right? So why blockchain? Because blockchain, and probably most of the people heard about blockchains in some way or the other, and they hey, it's good to see you, John Doe. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Hello, man. Hello, good sir. Hopefully you're going to be part of the history transmission tomorrow, as well as all the others. Of course, it's going to be a super interesting topic tomorrow. I think you're going to be excited. But thanks so much for being part of the future today as well. So what is blockchain? It is basically a block, a protocol of knowledge that is validated by a decentralized network of different computers. Basically, to explain this really like in the most simple way, if you have a lot of computers that are all running the same history, they're validating this history, and then you can exchange information through the various networks without any other institution kind of looking into this, reading this at the same time, having access to it, or being able to manipulate this history that is being transmitted from one peer to the other. It's a direct form of exchange. And I believe it's the future, not only of money, of finance, of everything. Basically, what I believe the media is hiding from you guys, and this is why I'm talking about it. And I think we're pretty much the first ones to kind of, you know, cover this topic from this perspective, from this angle. I think it's going to be, yes, I agree. Currency is actually a small part of it, but it's the part that everybody sells you, right? They all talk about Bitcoin, they talk about cash, they talk about, you know, scams, they talk about money, they talk about, you know, the banks and all that. So, but the thing is, what blockchain actually consists in, it is a way of trading knowledge. And remember what Warren Buffett said when Charlie Munger was still alive. They had one of those conferences a couple of years ago where we're talking to the shareholders, where they talked about how the world and its trading system has changed. They highlighted the past that was dominated by oil and gold, right? That was industrial revolution. That was the inception of the OPEC, right? The oil cartel, crude oil to distribute for our economy. And in the 60s and the 70s, nothing was more valuable than oil and gold. And then, of course, silver, right? So that was the currency of the past. That was the blood of the world's economy. And then later on, with the inception of internet, it became more information and data volume and networks. And we can witness this right now, right? If you kind of take a look at today's economy, it's dominated by information, right? We have Facebook, Google, Apple. These are the companies that are running the world, the most valuable companies on this planet, right? They all deal with information. They're not drilling for some oil. They're not some excavators, some mining companies that are kind of, you know, getting gold out of the mountains or silver. No, 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 no. The most valuable companies today already are just dealing with information. And so Warren Buffett was kind of, reminiscing on what currency was in the past. Oil. It was God at Wall Street was gold, oil, and drugs, actually, right? So that was running and oiling the machinery of world capitalism for most part of the 20th century. Then all of a sudden, the inception of computers and the internet kind of changed that landscape, and a lot of stuff became digital. And so the new currency, the present currency, it kind of changed from gold, oil, and drugs, and it changed into information and data and networks and data volume. And now I believe the new revolution, the new currency, and this is also according to Warren Buffett, is awareness and attention. So awareness and attention means validation and trust, because you can't get awareness if the things that you are saying are not relevant, if you're not relatable. And attention, right, comes exactly in with that type of business model, right? You only get attention if the stuff that you're saying is really validated by external sources. And till now, let's say when Bitcoin was actually launched 15 years ago, yes, till that moment, till 2008, everything was based on a company or a collective producing something and then selling it to the people. And they would have to kind of validate themselves through cash or other terms, right, and other means, and leaving also information, data about themselves. And that's when they could purchase a product. Now, the problem is that more and more companies are not selling products anymore, as we know. Whether it's Sony, right, PlayStation, games companies, even car manufacturers, they're not selling cars anymore. They're selling financial products. You can lease products, right? You can rent them out. You get the license to use them, exactly like music, right? iTunes. You get the license to use it, but you don't own anything of this, right? You don't own anything, and you will be happy, right? World Economic Forum 2 years ago. Very interesting. So they want you to buy, subscribe, and kind of, get into the licensing business, right? Where you are just a subscriber to a license, but you don't actually own the product that they're producing. This has been the latest development in order to make money. And this system is about to implode, collapse, and crash badly because people are having enough of it. First of all, they don't trust companies and governments anymore. I wonder why. And second of all, you can't just produce a product and say, but you actually don't own it. We just give you the permission, right, to use it for a certain amount of time. And then if we change our rules, if we just suddenly wake up and say, hey, it's not your product anymore, there's pretty much nothing that you can do about it. And so therefore, this is a model that, will run out very, very soon in the future. Of course, it will still have its still fair amount of users, right, that don't want to own anything. They just want to use it and pay rent for it. But the future, especially when we're talking about arts and creativity, about music, about anything that is, incepted by a single creator, there has been this disruption of blockchain technology that it's not being televised, that it's only focusing on finance, and most of the time just on a couple of things like NFTs and the scandals and the scams, right? Focusing only on that and hiding the true matter and the true disruptive nature of what blockchain technology actually is. And this is why we're doing the show today, because people are not really well informed. I'm not claiming that I know all the tricks, all the handles, all the specifications. I'm by no means, right? I'm not a coder. I'm not a programmer. I'm not from Silicon Valley. I'm just an external researcher and observer who's using some of this technology for himself, who got introduced to it and exposed to it a couple of years ago. And of course, I mean, this is just an ongoing study, and you guys can also chip in and give me your take on it, and we can definitely discuss about it. But I guess what I want to tell you today is that creativity will change forever. Licensing will change forever. Producing something will change forever. And this is not just a part of the industry that's going to be affected. Web3 and blockchain technology They want to hide it from you for the most time possible, for the longest time possible, because all of a sudden, out of the hat, they're gonna, present to you this new business model, and all the people that haven't been invested, informed, or part of this, will be left out, and they need to catch up. They need to spend more money. They need to make more research. They need to invest way more time into understanding what is actually going on. And I feel like this is similar to what we experienced throughout the last 4 decades, right? Think about this. Turn back the hands of time, right? Turn back the wheel of time. There was vinyl, and when CD came up, right, it kind of came around the corner and said, oh, this is disruptive technology. Ooh, this is going to change forever. And people, they had to kind of, buy CD players, get acknowledged, right, get acquainted with this new technology. They bought overly priced products that a couple of months later already were kind of out of sync and already outdated. And so people didn't really understand for the first 2-3 years when the CD was kind of introduced, how much of a disruptor that CD, that little device would actually be. Because of course, once you can store music on a little plate, right, on a little plastic plate, you can store all sorts of information on top of that, right? And hey, by no means, this is not something new. I mean, back already during the Second World War, we have already, we're discussing this, right? When we're looking at our history sessions, we're discussing the ancient civilizations that could store knowledge on plates and discs and cylinders and all types of other objects, right? Stone and all sorts of dimensions, sometimes building something in order to kind of leave an encrypted message. And so through CD, we got into the new technologies. VHS was kind of, replaced by DVD, and then DVD was again replaced, of course, by just a digital product. And at the same time, we started developing personal computers with a small storage in the beginning. I remember Bill Gates saying in the 80s, no one would need more than 64 MB storage unit at home, right? It wouldn't make any sense, right? And now we have terabytes of storage units at home, right? We can store thousands, millions of pieces of information at home, right? And when you think of the evolution of the computer, when it all started, most of the computers were big as cabinets, as drawers, and now they're personal, they're very small, and now they're the size of our phone even, and it's going to be smaller and smaller. It's going to be more and more miniaturized. Actually, this revolution started in the 13th century when a watchmaker named Henlein from Nuremberg, that's in southeastern Germany, when he invented the first miniature watch, right? Before his invention, watches were huge discs that were, hung up on a watch tower, usually part of a church building, and people would always need to kind of go out or just lean out of their window and kind of, spot the nearest church and kind of make out what time it is, right? So before Henlein came and reduced that infinite, huge apparatus into a small watch, right? The miniaturization process, watches were absolutely unpersonal. They were collective. And this is how technology developed. It was a collective technology at first. And even with internet, right? You have this incredible platform where you can access all types of information. But again, it's always a company that gives it a possibility to kind of rent out time and space out of the internet ecosystem and just stay exposed to that as long as your computer is on or your smartphone is on. And then otherwise it's not in your possession, right? You can download stuff and store it on your own hard disk for sure. You can place it in the cloud, but these are all items, devices, sources, spaces, and data networks that don't belong to you. You don't own them. Exactly like we discussed, you don't own games anymore. You don't own music anymore. You don't own vehicles anymore. You don't even own like a ticket for a plane because they can change at any time, right? And so the thing is this. While everything has become more miniaturized, everything has been also taken away from us. And we're just, the givers of money and not the creators anymore. And with blockchain and Web3, this all will change because it takes away the power of creation from companies and governments, and it places us into our own basket. So what does that mean? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the facts. What is a blockchain and how does it work and how can it be used, right? So a blockchain, like Investopedia.com tells us, is a distributed database or ledger. Ledger is an old Scottish word, means bridge, shared among a computer network's nodes. They're best known for their crucial role in cryptocurrency. Yes, because of course, if something is distributed and can't be altered and it has a unique digital imprint, of course you can use it also for currency because it's not forgeable, it's not hackable, and you can't copy it, right? So it stays in the validation system and you can only receive it or transmit it. So that means that for the future of trade, you can buy something directly through cryptocurrency databases, networks, and pay them directly, and you can directly link yourself to the producer. You don't actually have to go through a middleman. Let's say you want to sell your computer, right? You put your computer onto the blockchain, you offer it, you will get the payment, the validation comes in automatically. There's no way of scamming that type of entrance. It can't be retrieved, it can't be returned, it can't be hacked, anything. The moment you receive the cryptocurrency, it's yours, and then you can ship out the computer. You don't need a middleman. You don't need to scan through all the messages and look out for potential scams or be worried about that. So that already is a true boost, right? So it's a peer-to-peer based idea that is nonetheless supported by a broader network of computers. Shrinking data to more and more convenient forms, a clock tower to a wristwatch, a reel-to-reel magnetic tape to the cloud. Yes. Or instead of the cloud, a USB stick might be a better comparison. Yes, in this case, yeah, we're miniaturizing, we're bringing the cloud, all the possibilities, all the potential of the cloud, we're bringing it to a USB stick. Please let me know if the audio is fine, because sometimes with these cables, my gesture, my energy, sometimes I touch them. If something is wrong, please let me know. That is actually a good way to put it, Pat. Absolutely. So you don't need to access a cloud that was put there by a company, and you can only access the cloud with the data that the company deems necessary, and also can kick you out whenever they feel like it's comfortable. No. This is having your cloud, your bank, your trade directly in your computer without anyone else. So again, the system is supported collectively, but the transactions are going individually. To continue, blockchains can be used to make data in any industry immutable. The term used to describe the inability to be altered, like I explained before. So because there is no way to change a block of information, the only trust needed is at the point where a user or program enters data. This aspect reduces the need for trusted third parties, which are usually auditors or other humans that add costs and make mistakes. So since Bitcoin's introduction in 2009, blockchain uses have exploded via the creation of various cryptocurrencies, decentralized finance, applications, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and smart contracts. So what we take away? We take away that blockchain is a type of shared database that differs from a typical database in the way it stores information. Because blockchains store data in blocks linked together via cryptography. That means that all the blocks can't be just seen, but they are invisible, or they just a gibberish of numbers until you have the right mask that you put over, and then you can finally see the information. So from the outside, it just looks like numbers and letters, but to the one who's receiving it, the only one who's entrusted, the only one who can receive it, that then opens up in this computer on this USB stick as the full digital content that you actually purchased, that you traded, that you created. So that in itself is a pretty original, interesting concept. And Pat's right, I'm not sure what was my point. That was my point, but it sounds like what I think we're gonna cross-pollinating our thoughts here, right? You're saying something that you meant differently, and I enclose it in in another way, but we're both, I think, meaning the same. Because you're saying, first, just to make the point complete, shrinking data more convenient forms of clock, a tower, wristwatch, or reel-to-reel magnetic tape to the cloud, yes. Or instead of the cloud, right, use a USB stick. Yeah, I can bring the cloud down there. So it's not a better comparison. It's just it's another development. And so therefore, yeah, it is somehow your point. Again, I want to emphasize how important and crucial and disruptive this is. Because as you can imagine already, if you would give the global economic system a way to trade and to exchange without having a third party to mingle 24/7 access, 365 days a year, that means that you will never have a reason to close a stock market, to have closing times or to have opening times. The system can be ran throughout the year without any stops, because you know that the fundamental, underlying protocols that kind of, take care of the whole system will always work because of the nature of how blockchain is communicating with each other. We don't actually need to interfere to oversee it. And at the same time, it's not some sort of a creepy dystopian AI that sorts kind of out of a way of killing us while we're sleeping, right? And taking control of our systems and technologies. No, it's just it's the upgrade of the internet. It's the internet of values. It's the internet of exchange. Not only that I have access to certain areas, no, I can literally do anything I dream of on the blockchain and exchange it, sell it, trade it, store it, own it, and distribute it whenever I like. And people just have to refer to me, and I just have to refer to my next peer. I don't need third parties. And that is the strong factor about this. And being a decentralized form of validation, not a central entity like a computer or a central bank or a company, that means that it can't be, shut down. It can't be intermingled with. It can't be altered. It can't be disrupted by any means. And that in itself kind of creates single chains of immutable information that are going peer-to-peer. That it means that you have single internets that are validating a transaction that stacks on top of each other and just becomes bigger and bigger. And McAfee's law tells us that the more a network gets used, the more electricity it receives, the more data points and knots and nodes will be validated, the more the network will appreciate value. So the more the attention grows and the more the networks close, the more knots will create it around this, the heavier the cluster becomes, the more it will appreciate value, the more secure it will become. That's very interesting also compared to internet that can sometimes break down if there's like an overheating of information. This can actually never, not in this way, happen to blockchain. Actually, blockchain runs better the more validators it has. And therefore, it becomes more valuable. Different types of information can be stored on a blockchain, but the most common use for transaction has been a ledger, right? You have your USB stick or you have an access protocol. So in a way, it's a digital database that is distributed among the nodes of a peer-to-peer network. Yeah, that's a very, very good way, very simple way. That's a very good doodle right there. Why is this important? What has this to do with creativity? Why should we talk about this on a Monday afternoon? Why is this the future? Okay, let me explain. Now, imagine you have a certain value on your computer and you don't need that value. You have a certain amount of cash. There's someone else knocking on your computer and telling, hey, would you mind lending me out that value? I could use it if you don't use it. And I give you some interest rates on top of it if you lend it to me over the period of 30 or 60 days. And you say, sure, all right. So you create a lending pool, your tokens, your digitalized money comes in there. The other party lends this or borrows these tokens, uses them for whatever reason. And through the smart contract, through the closing of this transaction, there will be a certain time when at a certain point the person who got these tokens from you will be reminded automatically by the blockchain that you need to give it back, right? And that you need to push this back into the system. And there is no way also for this other person to go somewhere and just say, all right, thanks for the money, because his wallet is a unique address. It's a document that can't be altered. It's immutable, and it has a digital imprint that belongs just to that person. It's an absolutely personalized individual wallet. So the money that goes in there, the blockchain knows exactly who the money got transferred to, and it's very easy, with the certain technologies to kind of find exactly where this wallet is. And as soon as that wallet kind of clinks in or spends your money, your tokens in another way, because all of your tokens, of course, have a digital imprint as well. They are not anonymous at all, and not like cash that you have in your wallet, where $1 means like another dollar. Yes, it has a serial number, but that serial number is now a digital watermark that is cryptographically enclosed. That's the so-called hash graph. So there's no way of saying this is not your money, right? It's no way of spending it. This is why the argument that cryptocurrencies, that the blockchain cryptocurrencies are used for illicit, activities is actually ridiculous. So far the percentage is of 0.024% of the overall usage of all the blockchains that are momentarily run, and these are over 20,000 blockchains. Only 0.024% are being used for illicit activities. Why? Because it wouldn't make any sense for a mob member to send money through the blockchain, because we know exactly where the wallet is, where it's coming from, right? We know exactly how the transition went to which wallet it went, and where then the money was spent afterwards. So it wouldn't make any sense because it's open. It's absolutely transparent. It's pretty secure also this way. So money laundering through blockchain doesn't make any sense. It makes way more sense to have it in anonymous cash, and this is exactly what's happening. Why do we think it is the future? Because of a thing called NFT. And what is an NFT exactly, and how does it work? So an NFT, it means translated as a non-fungible token. It can't be corrupted, it can't be changed, it's immutable. It is a non-fungible token. So NFTs are crypto assets that grant gamers and collectors ownership over their digital items, right? So far, of course, the use cases are mostly in the gaming, financial, and also collectors area and environment. But we will learn what the usage might be in the future of these so-called NFTs. Yes, in the last 4 years, Pat writes, I've seen a big change in thought as far as people who think that they can use crypto to hide their money. Yes, that's absolutely nonsense, right? It wouldn't make any sense. If these are just pictures of bored apes, and have to give anything, including a legal document. Exactly. And this is my point. It is a legal document. It's a digital document. It's a certificate that has a unique stamp on it that can't be altered, can't be tampered with, and that can be named, and that is your unique signature. So let's say you create a piece of art, a bag, a patent, an invention, whatever it is. You don't need to run to the patent bureau and have to register it, and then anonymously, right? Oh, this patent kind of disappeared. Not in our archives, in our registers anymore. So someone else copies it. And if it's a bigger company, they won't even mind. And you have to run a lawsuit for the entirety of your life. And then your funds will be drained because you can, of course, afford like an expensive lawyer. And so therefore, the problem, even with a patent so far, has always been that, yeah, they can always copy it, right? And this has happened to me too, right? Inventions, unfortunately, we know exactly the inventor of the Walkman, who had to fight, for years to get a little bit of recognition, a bit of money. The inventor of the E-Class that was later used by Mercedes-Benz was a French guy who was awarded very much later his life for kind of just for coining that term, the E-Class. Deutsche Bank, right? One of the biggest, most influential banks on this planet, one of the biggest players in the financial market, internationally, they pay 250 euros, dollars back then for their logo, right? So these are just a few examples how patents, royalties, inventions in the future have always, in the past, have always been unfortunately misused. With NFTs, that will stop. Because non-fungible tokens are a special type of crypto asset that allows holders to prove their ownership of real or digital items, but most importantly, the latter. Because these intangible items can include things like plots of virtual real estate in games like The Sandbox and Decentraland, or plots of real estate, like physical real estate in the real world. To digital artwork like Beeple's Everydays, the 2020 collection, and even images of cartoon apes. And we are seeing a bunch of real estate developers in the United States that are using already this fractionalized ownership model to distribute non-fungible tokens to their customers in order to hold a little stack, a little percentage of a house. So instead of buying a complete house and dealing with all, the paperwork, the bureaucracy, the lending, the owning, the interest rates, and all of that, screw that. You just buy a little piece of a house through a certificate that can be altered. You can keep that. It will appreciate value over time. You can sell it to someone else, or you can buy more and more fractionalized ownerships pieces of that house, fractionalized ownership certificates of that real estate, of that piece of art, of that great painting, of a bottle of wine collection, of a car collection, of whatever. So you don't need to go to a single distribution center and buy the whole thing there anymore. No, you just go online from the comfort of your home and you choose where to invest. And you say, hey, I want to own a piece of the Mona Lisa. I want to own a piece of the Louvre Museum or the Uffizi in Florence. And they will let me appreciate value of my ownership. And when I have enough, when I don't want to, I can still sell that fungible token and it will have more value, not less value. Because usually if you buy a house, yes, over time it appreciates value, but you have to invest. You have to definitely put money down. You have to do all sorts of things in order to have that appreciation of value. Here, you just hold it. And you know exactly if you have like a good lot, good real estate, a good property, that more and more people will flock to that lot. And so through the digital appreciation, also the physical appreciation will take place. Because nowadays we see the same example with Hollywood stars becoming Hollywood stars because of their Instagram followers and not because of their talent. Because what does that mean? Because the studio knows exactly an actor who has millions of followers. Not only will these people, go most likely to the movie theater and watch the latest movie that the star has shot, it means also that they can distribute all sorts of, products digitally. And these people will most likely, a huge chunk of these people who are following the star will also buy the products. Kim Kardashian, etc. Paris Hilton is actually the best example. She started this whole social media frenzy. And you could say that NFTs are the next step of evolution of that. So you don't need stars anymore. You yourself, you can come up with something. You can crowdfund your next album, your next vinyl record. You can crowdfund your next comic book. You can crowdfund your next big gallery exhibition. You can crowdfund basically anything without calling it crowdfunding. You just print 1,000 NFTs. They have all their unique serial number. You can have different patterns in the background if you want to make them a bit more rare, and they can appreciate value in itself. But this is how you distribute them, and this is how people are locked into your enterprise. You can also add more and more bonuses and more features to that NFT, right? You can say, hey, buy a piece of my new album, right? Whatever I will make with that, you get 5% of it, 3% of it, whatever. But the NFT itself, the certificate itself, right? Maybe I add always different patterns or like a bonus song that you can unlock, whatever it is, right? That NFT, that special certificate itself will appreciate value. So the album and the digital copy or the digital certificate are now worth something. Where to now, your contract that you have over your real estate, the licensing product over your music is worth nothing, right? You got it. Yes, it proves something, but it's worth nothing. In the future, even the certificate itself is a piece of art and therefore will have value. Yes, absolutely, Pat. I mean, obviously, you're very savvy with this. You know, the current system patents are very localized. A decentralized DeFi blockchain solves legal issues for people or corporations who want the idea to be inherently recognized across the world on the first step. Inherently and instantly. Worth, folks. One form of this could be compared to a digital sports card, Magic Gathering card. Exactly. Yeah, you could have a shoeless Joe Jackson collection, or a Lady Gaga, or a Pokemon collection. You can all digitalize them, all put them to NFTs, and you can sell them, you know, not through eBay, through your ledger to people. And with that NFT, you buy the collection, you send it over to the people. So again, no commission to third parties, no intermingling, no dubious transactions. You know exactly when the money comes in, then you can ship it out. It's fast, it's pretty secure, it doesn't cost a lot. It's actually a couple of days ago, Bitcoin worth $1.3 billion. So it's 1 point something. I'm not quite sure. Don't name me down on the number, but 1 point something billion dollars have been moved recently, I think 2 days ago. And the overall cost was $7.32. Now, if you would move in the old legacy financial system, something over $1 billion, that will cost you thousands of dollars just to move your money. Now, with NFTs and blockchain technology, moving huge, like immense sums of money costs nothing, right? There is a cryptocurrency called XRP, where the transaction duration takes 3 seconds, right? So even if you exchange cross-border payments, right, you send money from the US to Africa, it doesn't take weeks, right, through Swift, which is a messaging program that is very slow and runs, yes, it runs efficiently now, but it has a lot of problems, a lot of, you have to kind of call the bank first, the program announces the payment, then it messages from where it's coming from, then the other bank confirms, and then you can send the money. Then, of course, the money is, there are bank accounts are called Nostro Vostro bank accounts. You need bank accounts of your same branch. Let's say you have a Bank of America. That Bank of America branch has another branch or another subsidiary in another country that holds a certain amount of money that's always there in order that you want to make, if you want to make international cross-border payments. And that is highly ineffective because you have to always have a certain reserve of money ready just for those transactions that you can spend, you can lend, you can really use. So that's that money that you just need in order to make that international cross-border payment. With XRP, for example, you don't need that anymore. You have an instant settlement that costs close to nothing, which is really revolutionary. So you kind of take out all the middlemen, you take out all the all the supplementary costs, you take everything that kind of slows down the system, and you have just a unique shared value of information that goes immediately, bada boom, back and forth. Yes, exactly. In one day, Swift is, it's an old system. It was its conception is over 70 years old, and it has a low data messaging volume. So that means when you are actually messaging, you can't include anything in that except a couple of bullet points for the bank to know where this money is coming from, how much it's going to be, what's the bank account number. This is very low messaging standard. The quality is very low, and it's very dry system. And sometimes you have to kind of double and triple, even quadruple check that everything is right, and then you can only bona fide on the other account. And this is, with blockchain technology, is something that's even less than a second. Less than a second. Yes. Going back to the NFTs, I want to show you something. When we hear this, yeah, okay, some games, some art collection, a couple of cartoon apes, speculations, whatever. This might sound pretty underwhelming to the average person. I get that in the beginning, yes, because you don't see the bigger picture. This is also why we're doing this show today. But you need to appreciate that in today's ever-increasing digital world, it's incredibly difficult to authenticate or exercise ownership over the things that you can simply screenshot, copy, or download, right? That's a good point, right? How can you distinguish? Yeah, watermarks, but again, you have Once you have the authorization, then you get the real pictures in, and then you can download it. Again, this is more time, it's more transaction costs, it's more electricity that you burn, and it's definitely like a low way of doing this, right? So imagine you're a concept artist who creates digital artwork for gaming companies like Ubisoft or Treyarch, right? Now, if you want to go and your digital artwork online. To achieve this, you need to find some way of marking and tracking ownership of your pieces, right? So that purchasers could prove that they had original piece and not just some screenshots. Otherwise, what's the point of spending your money on it? That's, I think, a genius thing. There is no way of altering this, of fumbling with this. So a non-fungible token is a tradable digital asset that contains information that essentially says the person in control of this crypto wallet address is the owner of a computer file stored in this location. A computer file, as we've discussed, right, it can be anything, an image to a GIF or an audio clip. So what's interesting about NFTs is even if you create 1,000 copies of the same image or file and mint the same number of NFTs to represent ownership of each copy of the image will be uniquely identifiable from the other 999 pieces based on the special type of information called metadata that each NFT token contains. You follow me so far? That is incredible, revolutionary, guys. Again, so far the music industry has been very frustrating for freelance developers and creators. Yes, I mean, we have Reef, we have common source technologies that enable us to, you know, reach out to a different customer base, but we still have to go through all these different organizations, to their rules, applications, and royalties, and it's still kind of subdivided with other companies, third parties. This all goes away. Now you create songs, you place them as NFTs on your blockchain. You have different exchanges like OpenSea, for example. You place them there. Someone comes along. There's no discussion, no discount, not this, not anything. They will directly buy it, download it, and you've sold with zero hustle. You've sold your music, your artwork, your creation, and if you want, through the smart contract, right? Because you have blockchain contracts that, of course, are kind of, you know, giving you the ratification of that transaction, so the transaction is officially and legally settled. You can even include further royalties if you want. You can say, hey, whenever this gets sold to another party, I get 5% or even 10% or 15%. If the other party agrees with that, you will always earn money, even if it gets resold to a third or fourth party. Unlike to what we're experiencing now, right? Where Napster kind of showed us that once you own a digital copy, right, you can copy it millions of times and distribute it, and then you won't even see a dime of that. With blockchain, this will never happen because just by the way the encryption works, you will always receive your 5% of share every time it gets sold. You don't have to look after it. You don't have to kind of make sure that lawyers are behind this, that a third party controls it. This is a simple way of making sure that there's a stream of income that will be assured through your creative work. And I think this is an incredible milestone, guys. I think we can't even appreciate to this point, to this day, what that actually means. And just for the value proposition today, make sure to smash the like button, guys, because this stuff truly is revolutionary. I can only encourage you to inform yourself about how blockchain technology works, how NFTs are working, what the future is of this. Because I'm telling you again, do you remember when people told you that Amazon was a scam? There are actually even articles today that say, Amazon somehow is a scam. When they told you Apple could never be a company that makes money, when they told you that internet is not going to be a big thing. I remember those days. I grew up with the development of the huge company computers to personal computers. And I remember my relatives, like even close relatives to me saying, personal computers, this is just for scammers, illegal activity, illicit activities, pornographic material. It's never going to be a thing, right? I remember there is a quote from Gottlieb Daimler, one of the inventors of the automobile. And he said back in the 19th century, mid-19th century, that his vehicle, the car, the automobile wouldn't be a successful product because there are not enough chauffeurs out there. There are not enough drivers out there. He could never envision that everyone would own personally a car or even multiple cars or even a collection of cars. He thought that would be like that he would produce a highly luxurious product that can only be owned by the elite. He wasn't designing a car for everyone and for everyday people. He thought that this would be so expensive that only companies, millionaires, aristocracy, people who could, afford a chauffeur, like people would drive them around. This is actually what the initial idea behind the car was. And then a couple of years later, Ford came up with the moving assembly line, powered also by German engineers. And so all of a sudden, it became an individualized product. Same thing was true with the computer technology. For 20 years, nobody believed it could be personalized. Then we had personal computers. Then we had internet. And we said, yeah, but that access is slow. We won't use it on a massive scale, like in a personalized way. And now we have it on our cell phone miniaturized, right? And we have super fast access and terabytes of storage data, of data storage. So again, I think we are hearing the same narrative, the same pattern. Yeah, this is just random technology. This will never make it. This is only for criminals or for elitists or people who have something to hide, right? We are hearing the same noise that we heard with Amazon, with the internet, with those, information companies. And to me, this is just hiding the truth. To me, this just means we want to prevent that people will get rich and independent. Of course, the financial aspect of this is massive. Of course, it is massive. Why? Because digital assets, since they can't be manipulated, altered, you can install in them like a natural inflation with the distribution that you have, right? But with these digital assets, you can pay. And we have already our US dollar that is pegged by stable coins. That means that you have digital coins that are pegged one by one by the US dollars, that can be used for paying. Lamborghini famously was the first car company that accepted cryptocurrencies to pay their cars. This is why all crypto millionaires, they drive a Lamborghini, because somehow it kind of belongs to the narrative. But what does that mean? That in the future, you won't pay with US dollars anymore. You will pay with stable coins, you will pay with cryptocurrencies, you will pay with NFTs, with digital items. Like an NFT can have, already we're selling NFTs to higher prices than classical paintings. I think the most valuable NFT collection was sold for $96 million. The second most valuable was sold for 63, the third for $59 million. And this is, mind you, NFTs are a relatively young product, and we're talking about millions of dollars already for a little digital certificate. Now think about the history of paintings, of classical art. How long did it take to sell paintings over $1 million? Thousands of years, guys. Thousands of years, right? We have Picassos that now have been sold for millions of dollars, Van Gogh for almost $100 million, okay. But that took thousands of years in the making. The history of painting and classical art, hundreds of years in the latest development. And the adoption was very, very slow to art as like an investment asset. Cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology has in less than 10 years succeeded, surpassed, and by the factor of 1,000 already, topped all the classical forms of investment. And that is absolutely insane, right? It took Bitcoin, I think, 14 years to top the market cap of silver. That is, it's a resource that we have for thousands of years. Of this planet was used for thousands of years, and in the means of less than 2 decades, Bitcoin has become more valuable in a market cap than silver. Just imagine what we're talking about. So imagine you're a part of a network that is starting right now that already is more valuable than all the other networks combined that took hundreds of years in the making, and you start publishing your books, your comic books, your music, your artwork on that network, and just communicate peer-to-peer to your buyers. You the seller, they're the buyer, both in an uncomplicated, fast and secure way, exchanging peer-to-peer information and products and trading with each other. That is absolutely amazing. And I believe that the future of filmmaking will be this. Imagine what we're doing now. We're flying to Cannes, because right now we have the Festival of Cannes. We're flying to Cannes. We're meeting there on the market, talking endless hours. Of course, it's beautiful. I love flying to Cannes because that is exciting. It's an incredible event. We go there, we get seen, red carpet, flashlights, Willem Dafoe, Emma Stone, Sylvester Stallone, all these people running around, you're taking pictures. Okay, but to make movies is highly ineffective because, there are different languages, different forms of communication. It's noise. You go to any exhibition, you want to make deals and moves on an exhibition, on an art fair, on a convention, on a fair, on a trade fair. Yeah, I mean, it's doable, but still, it takes time. You need a lot of communication. You need to fly out there. You need to find the right product. You need to take your time there. You are distracted by many things. This all goes away. There is no middleman anymore. You directly have a product and you can offer this to the whole wild world instantly. And inherently, you have all the security you need to kind of back yourself up against any type of illegal criminal activity. Again, guys, just for that value proposition, smash the like button. Right? Make sure to be part of that smash the like button community. Let me just really quickly continue with this article here, because I think there's still a couple of gold nuggets that we can extract here. So we're distributing our 999 NFTs. This means that while 1,000 investors might have all the same looking image in their wallets, they can say each I specifically own by copy number so-and-so. Think of it as an addition of a trading card, 1,000 exclusive copies, but where each card has its own serial number to distinguish it from others. In addition, the card with the serial number 1, it would be most likely go for a higher price and be more desirable than other copies in the edition, of course. Taking this concept even further, creators of types of NFTs collections and different trades of varying degrees of rarity further increase the value and scarcity of their pieces. For instance, among the 1,000 pieces, a creator might decide that 10 of them will have a different color background and only of them will have a pattern background, like explained before. By doing this, some purchasers interested in investing in the collection will naturally want to own the rarest pieces in the collection in the hope their value will rise more over time, assuming demand for the collection remains high. Of course, that is your work, right? So now let's talk fungibility, the part that gives non-fungible tokens their name. By definition, fungible tokens are those that can be mutually exchanged for another token like for like. For example, Bob can swap his 1 Bitcoin for Alice's 1 Bitcoin, and neither party will be better or worse off. With NFTs, this is not so straightforward, because while NFTs themselves are exchangeable in the sense that you can buy and sell NFTs from to other people, yes, okay, but the unique traits of each NFT mean it has its own distinct value. For instance, you couldn't trade any shiny Charizard Pokemon card for a Joe Jackson 1909 American Caramel baseball card like for like. This is what I meant by non-fungible when people talk about NFTs. So it is indestructible because every NFT data is stored on a blockchain via smart contracts. Each token can be destroyed, cannot be destroyed, removed, or replicated. Ownership of these tokens is also immutable, which means gamers and collectors actually possess their NFTs. That means you can carry your items that you have bought in your game, that you have won, that you have conquered in the game. You can buy it, you can own it, and then you can carry them around and kind of integrate it in other games. There are cryptocurrency projects, blockchain projects like Immutable X that will allow you to do exactly that. Through the Immutable X blockchain, you can actually carry your items from one game to the other or sell. It's verifiable. Another benefit of storing historical ownership data on the blockchain is that items such as digital artwork can be tracked back to the original creator, which allows pieces to be authenticated without the need for third-party verification. Again, this is so big, guys. This is so big. Nobody can claim it's theirs anymore if it isn't. Right? Because it's provable in a matter of seconds that it's not the fact, it's not true. So think about contracts that are also stipulated in between countries, huge companies, where you sell long term to, you know, let's say you are serving a restaurant, you're serving another company that needs a certain product in order to run its business. So you have these chains that are also always included. And here's the thing. This is all stored in the blockchain. And there is something called the Oracle blockchain, right? You have some Oracle blockchains that functions as a validator and distributor. So in the future, you just type in what your parameters are, and the acquisition, the trade, the exchange, and the shipment will happen automatically. That means that also the money coming in, and of course, let's say when you have a trade, a transaction that needs to be processed and then finalized and then settled, that you don't have to actively look for it all the time. This is what happens today, right? You come into the store, someone buys, you have to oversee the transaction. You have to see if the transaction has been settled. You see if the process went well. No, in the blockchain, there is no way of fixing this, or of kind of, you know, trying some other illicit moves, right? Someone orders, pays immediately, it ships out automatically. And with the digital authentication, you can track every product. This goes also for food chains, for producers of food and produce of all arts and form and pieces, right? You know exactly which eggplant went from which store, from which warehouse to which supermarket, and where that eggplant originally came from. What is the country of origin? Where was it produced? You can track every single item in a matter of seconds. There's no way of, again, kind of mingling with it. Increase the prices artificially, or kind of play with discounts or anything. It's all settled, and also the order and the settlement is all automatical. So that means that I owned a restaurant with my mom for 16 years. We had this winery, beautiful restaurant in the south of Germany, beautiful place, until, of course, I decided to destroy it with the so-called sea virus. But till then, it was a beautiful place. But the problem was that we always had to make our orders live every day, even though we would sometimes need the same things over and over again. So we would have to call, wait for someone to answer the phone, ask for the prices, ask for this, ask for that, then place the order, then maybe do a first initial wiring from the bank. We would need to copy the screenshot because the settlement is not instant. It would take a couple of days. So just to get your produce into your restaurant, sometimes you would take more time than actually cook it afterwards, which is absolutely nuts, especially for small and medium-sized businesses that need always a constant, stock of certain products in order to produce their products, whether that's food or jewelry or fashion, whatever it is, right? So that now is all automatical. Now that is all automated. It's all supervision. There's no third party. The settlement is instant. You have no fees, no time that you have to invest more into that. And you don't need to oversee it. It just happens. And so therefore, this is the internet of value. This is the new internet, guys. Blockchain is going to be the new internet. It's not just a needy, fun thing where you can sell a couple of bored apes or make some money in some dubious speculation with some meme coins. No, this is the future of exchange, of trade and commerce. And somehow, and this is also the reason I wanted to cover this, it kind of links in perfectly to our past. If you think about the Sumerians, right, encrypting and kind of signing their terracotta cylinder seals, burning them, and then sending them out with someone who was carrying them and kind of bringing the news to the one who should receive it about their lands, about their, whatever it is that they are owning with the orders of selling, buying, or exchanging. They could, test for authenticity by looking at the cylinder seal, and they would know that the cylinder seal must contain some of these cuneiform encryptions. Otherwise, they knew it would be fake. And so this is just that development. It just took us 8,000 years to kind of rethink that, but it's finally happening. Yes, exactly. So Pat is saying there's millions more things that go on behind the scenes, like when you buy something on eBay. Even the act of clicking buy requires validation from your computer to 1,000 computers in between. And again, this all goes in connection with you giving your data to a third party that does whatever it wants with that data and makes money on top of it while you are paying fees to that company, right? So that's totally crazy. First, you pay fees to the company, you pay a commission, you have to give out your data, you don't know anything what the company is going to do with your data, and then it's still not secure, it's still not completely safe that you will whether receive your money or the shipment. With blockchain technology, this all goes away. There is no one who needs to validate your transaction. There is a clear encrypted hash graph cryptography transaction, a block of knowledge that gets transmitted from one peer to the other. There's no way of faking it, no third party, no other consensus mechanism. It's just that proof of work, right? The blocks that are being created, validated by the community of networks. That means that it's a decentralized validation format, different nodes that are saying yes to the transaction, and then you can securely change, trade, sell, buy whatever you want, right? And so therefore, that's the power behind it. You actually save energy, you save storage time, you save transaction time, you save energy in terms of focus, concentration, reading, not reading, all this stuff. It all goes away. You will have a QR code, scan that, scan the cryptocurrency you want to pay with, and the transaction is settled within 0.03 seconds. Yes. Excellent point, Pat. I feel like there's a beautiful conversation between me and you. I knew in the end it would wind up like this, would end up like this, but this is the fascination, and I'm happy that it's just a couple of people attached to this right now, because that would mean that otherwise it would be already like a speculation, it would be like a mass thing. We are in the beginnings. These are just the first steps of a complete revolution. And I think Ukraine being the second biggest mining country for Bitcoin, do you think that's a coincidence that the war is breaking out exactly there? And who runs those companies that are mining Bitcoin, right? Take a look into that. Who's financing those companies? Because if you have an asset that just appreciates value over time, of course you have a store of value that goes beyond cash and bonds and diamonds and golds, right? Because the more people will buy it, the more it will appreciate value, the more secure it becomes. And it's not dependable on some miners in South Africa. It's depending on a network of computers that are exchanging information with each other and helping each other to validate a node. And you can create a cryptocurrency for yourself. Think about the system of voting for the president, right? There is no cartage that needs to be digitalized. There's no letters that can be lost or found in the basement after the election is over, right? It means you create a wallet for each and every candidate, and you can every citizen gets one coin distributed by the non-decentralized but a non-centralized decentralized ledger. So everyone in the US who is authorized to vote will receive one coin and can send one coin only, and you can only choose between candidate A, B, or C, and you send that coin to that candidate. That means you voted for him, and then they will check the wallets, and this can happen in 2 hours from the whole of the United States. Even in 60 minutes, you can check who's becoming a president. There is no way of forging this. Everyone receives one coin. It's a digitalized product that is authenticated, certified, it is secure. Again, it's cryptography, no one knows. And so you send it directly into the wallet of the candidate that you like to elect. And by the end of a mark of 60 minutes, 2 hours, a day, the wallet with the most coins in it is officially the president, right? This is the one who's been voted. So why are they not talking about this in the media? Why are they saying just Bitcoin, illicit activity, drug cartels, pornography? Why are they saying this? Because they don't want people to realize what the real power of this is. Because otherwise there will be no scam of voters anymore, no scam of money anymore. There's no way that they will sell you some trash bonds or anything else. Think about this. There is a stable coin, a digitalized dollar, right, in the cryptocurrency space. It's called Tether. And Tether, prints, of course, digital money, right? So every tether is pegged by a dollar, but sometimes they don't peg it with cash. They peg it by, they're pegged. One tether is sometimes pegged by bonds that they buy from the US Treasury. And a bond is nothing else than me lending you money, right? I buy the bonds with the promise that you will give me interest rates back. So I give you my liquidity that you can do whatever with it. And so therefore you gave me the bonds that then I will can cash in a couple of years. Now, Tether already being, you know, the stable coin, one of these cryptocurrencies that are being used, again, 15 years in the making so far. Tether already has surpassed Germany in terms of the amount of US treasuries that they hold in order to pack the stablecoins. And nobody has ever heard of Tether in the real world. And already this digital asset has already surpassed Germany in terms of how many bonds, what the volume of value is of bonds, of American bonds that they hold. That is incredible. There has been no quicker adoption. Not even Pornhub has had such a quick adoption, like cryptocurrencies, NFTs, blockchain technology. Think about the new iPad. Apple's new iPad has a render technology in its new chip where it doesn't use the chip on its own base anymore, and it's not even using it from the cloud. If you have to render a heavy project, it borrows cloud programming computing space from a cryptocurrency, from a blockchain called Render that is integrated into the new iPad. So when you create something now, you don't have to worry about the cloud or anything. It's actually the more storage you need, it will be provided by the blockchain automatically. So it doesn't slow down a cloud, it doesn't slow down a computer, and you can have instant access to whatever more working space and computing power that you actually need. This goes also for big distribution centers. Like think about Walmart and Amazon. They have to, you know, build huge warehouses with computers in order to track all of their product. Now you can easily, you know, get rid of these warehouses and just use, for example, Render, this crypto technology that kind of creates through the blockchain computing power that it can now lend out to companies that need to track all of their products. So you don't need those storage units, those warehouses full of computers, thousands of electro hours that will go into that, and hours of, you know, workers, employees that are fixing all the problems. You eliminate mistakes, you eliminate excess power drainage, you eliminate extra costs that then will benefit in the end the consumer, and you have direct access to the computing power that you need. This is what blockchain does, and it's already starting. Again, all stuff they will not tell you, all stuff they won't inform you about, because it's already the step in the future. They want you to be blind till the latest possible entry moment, so you will be completely dependable on their technologies, on their devices where everything is already incorporated, and you will have to catch up with knowledge and spend a lot of money, a lot of energy in order to do so. And also, you will miss out on the big opportunities to be part of a created distribution market that has no boundaries. Think about the old way of, you know, creating a book, like you want to create a comic book, right? Think of Rippaverse. That's a great Eric July, the legend himself. How was he doing it so far? He's reaching out through YouTube. He's reaching out through Instagram. He's telling people about his comic book. He has to make a lot of publicity around it, and then he has to crowdfund it. He has to wait till it's funded, and then once the money is booked on his account, and it's then he can start, you know, using that money slowly but surely in order to kind of finance the production of his comic books. And you have to, of course, talk to your community, to the other communities, in order to kind of, you know, make them aware of your, you know, entrepreneurial quest. Now with blockchain technology, you just put it on OpenSea. You put the certificate there. You can directly purchase a spec of his company, the latest comic book, pay him in advance, or be the founder through a lending pool of the money that Eric needs, that he kind of feels is the desired mark to go into production. Where's the advantage though? Because you could say, yeah, well, crowdfunding does the same thing. Yeah, but it's inflationary. It needs to be adapted to the current fluctuation of the currency and the de-evaluation of the currency. When you have an NFT that is funding your project, that is always that has no inflation. You pay directly with another cryptocurrency, or you pay with your currency that then gets translated into the cryptocurrency that kind of funds and supports the project. And so therefore, anyone from all over the globe can buy into your project, hold a spec of it, get interest rates from it. Or if you want it, Eric could also say, you know what? Let's make a pool. Let's create a pool of money where I say, I put in my comic book, you put in the money, I distribute the comic books via NFT. You can download them directly onto your computer or print them out or just read them directly. They are unique, issues. So therefore, you have a digital issue that belongs just to you, authenticated by the producer, the seller, or the creator. And that pool in itself, when there's a lot of blockchain activity in that pool, that means the pool itself appreciates value. So in the future, you can just leave the NFTs there. People can come in, chip in, buy some more, leave some other NFTs trades, and that pool in itself is not just there for the crowdfunding gets closed once the book is published. It will stay open and it will generate more and more value. I need to talk slower. But yes, Pat, the point is, I'm literally trying to make points and you keep hitting them before I can type it fast enough. Yes, sir. Crypto can be somewhat compared to a GoFundMe, but more control stays with the creator. Yes. And you also, you can change the aspect of the GoFundMe. You can change, you can add, you can expand. You can create pools out of it where you can have literally like an exchange, like a digital exchange where you can trade all sorts of things from art over money to other NFTs, other digital tokens. And in this way, it's again a way of getting in touch directly with your customers being directly connected to the creative community that you have, directly having a source of support without any third parties, not spending any superfluous energy in organizing that, but having direct peer-to-peer transactions and settlements with the people who want to help you, knowing exactly who they are, issuing benefits specifically for them. You could say it's almost like having like a Discord channel and a GoFundMe in one product that is absolutely not controlled by any other company. You're always staying in connection directly with the creator. And that is a quantum leap, even though a quantum leap we know is something very small, but it sounds fancy, right? It sounds like we would do like big things. And that's why we say, oh, it's a quantum leap. Okay, so how do NFTs work? So there is this transparent immutable ledger that maintains a constant record of all NFTs, right? Let's say we stay in the GoFundMe theoretical, right? And then who owns them and where the files that they point are to are kept. So this is where blockchain technology comes in. By leveraging the publicly distributed immutable nature of blockchains, all NFT can be stored in a transparent way, allowing anyone to check the authenticity of any NFT at any time. Each time an NFT is transferred or created, the action is permanently recorded on the blockchain and time-stamped, meaning it's possible to trace any single NFT right back to its genesis, something that's pretty handy if you want to make sure your ape or virtual kitty is genuine or not. So let's get back to one step and discuss what NFTs are from a technical standpoint. So crypto assets can be created from scratch, but most developers, when setting out to launch tokens, will typically use an existing blueprint to streamline the process and save costs. Makes sense. Leading crypto projects such as Ethereum recognized early on that there needed to be some form of standardization among newly created crypto tokens to establish interoperability. So for Ethereum, which is a layer 1 blockchain, is one of the first layers that have created in the blockchain technology. Now we have layer 2s and layer 3s. Ethereum token standards were developed to achieve exactly this. These involve specific sets of smart contract functions that a token must be able to perform in order to be compatible with all other tokens, platforms, and services in the broader Ethereum ecosystem. So you have ecosystems that have a unique signature And then you can streamline your tokens according, or adjusting your tokens or your projects or your NFT according to that platform, right? To that ecosystem, to that blockchain, because every blockchain works slightly differently with slightly different technical values. There are thousands of different blockchains that have different properties. Some of them are specialized in running faster, some of them to contain more information, some of them are slower but safer. There are many different forms and variations according to what you need. And so in order to process and to send, digital items over this chain, like to be a passenger in a digital train, let's say, you need an entrance ticket for that train, right? It needs to be specific for that train. Otherwise, you will stay at the station, your product will be lost. And therefore, you have a smart contract that ratifies that you can ride that train, right? There is a smart contract gets issued every time you have a peer-to-peer trade, and that gets settled through a smart contract. Now you can run on that train. You can use that, determine that specific blockchain in order to exchange, trade, sell, or buy. Again, it's a revolutionary system, guys. And I think finally what's the most important about this is when you think about all the implications right now, what we have, why haven't they mentioned blockchain before? Because if you want to make sure that in an artificial pandemic, everybody gets a vaccine without knowing exactly what the vaccine does, it's easy to kind of tell that story if you can verify where it's coming from, what's actually in there, and what the problems might be, and what vaccine goes in what direction. So for medical purposes, for example, first of all, you can't just claim that there is a pandemic. With the blockchain technology, you can check if there is a pandemic, right? And that goes without the legacy media. That goes without any non-governmental organization that maybe, I don't know, just, picking it out of the blue, resides in Switzerland, a country that we can't touch, have no access to, that is, basically run by very old money that is, kind of kept by even older people. With blockchain technology, if you claim that there is a pandemic outbreak somewhere, you can immediately check, as if, you could say it's a real-time Twitter, but with an immediate authentication. Because if you put a message into the blockchain, it gets immediately verified by the other validator nodes, by the other computers. And if their history data doesn't match yours, your message, your information gets kicked out of the system, right? It won't be processed. The block won't be completed. So if let's say a government out of the blue claims that there is a pandemic outbreak, you can double check immediately with the blockchain if that's actually the case. And then you can refute the material without any speculation or any third party experts that will tell you, oh, no, it's true, but never have been there or have traveled there personally. And the same thing goes with medicine, right? If they tell you, hey, this medicine comes from this and this place and it's brand new or it's fresh, you can check through the blockchain, through the smart contracts, and through the deposition of the transaction, if that's actually the case. If the stuff that is contained in there is actually hazardous or not, if it contains any risk for your health, if there is anything included in that medicine, in that probe that shouldn't be there, and if it's really that fresh like they are claiming, or if that product has been stored somewhere for years and years, and then they are giving it out, and all of a sudden they're including it into the chain of commerce, right? So all these things, they go out of the window. So there is no faking anymore, per se. Of course, you can still claim news and people can still believe it or not, right? You can always have a controversy about everything. But in terms of validating a chain of information, there is no other technology than blockchain for the future. And this is why I believe they haven't talked about it, because they knew they're going to launch this pandemic. And therefore, having already NFTs for news ticker in 2021 or 2020, that would have prevented the so-called outbreak, because people would have just, checked if what the governments and the legacy media systems are claiming is actually factual true or not, right? And so therefore, if you have an information that goes against what the media is telling you, you can immediately kind of, put against it and say, hey, it's basically a lie. Again, also, if you're shipping something and you have, the problem of worldwide logistics, you're not finding your products. Again, with blockchain technology, this all goes, you don't need satellites, anything, right? They track where your product is. It has a unique signature. It will send this signature to the next receiver, and that is incorporated into the stream of the of your Web3, and then you can, from the palm of your hand, check where your product is, where currently, how long it's gonna take, and everything else. So storage of information, like Warren Buffett said, it's all about the attention of the future, and attention will go, of course, where the most information lies, where the most truth is, where the most validation is happening, and where the most validation is happening, this is also where the value is being created. So if I have something, bad press, good press, there is no such thing as press, right? So if people talk about me, immediately my value appreciates. And now with Web3, you can immediately monetize that. You can immediately, your coins, your products, your NFTs, your artwork will immediately appreciate value. It's one-to-one. It's like having a stock market in the pocket of your pants without, again, any third party intermingling with it. It's the new form of creating, of distributing, of selling and trading. You shouldn't miss out on this trend. Guys, inform yourself, do your research, throw yourself in, take some time to really find out what this blockchain thing is and how you can use it for your company, for your marketing, for your, whatever you want to produce. Because don't let any companies tell you anymore who you should believe, what you should buy, if you're healthy or not, and where you should go with your life or what to expect, right? It's you creating, it's you selling, it's you storing. You won't need banks anymore. Central banks, inflationary monetary systems, right? We know exactly that, the power of buying something with a US dollar in the last 30 years has lost 98% of its value. Over here with cryptocurrencies, probably the value would just go up over time. Of course, if you have scam projects, it will fail, but about technology problems, cataclysm, I'm not talking about that. I just regular, because the more you use, the more the value will increase. It's exactly the opposite to our old legacy currency system. And yes, there are some darker aspects to this where, governments are thinking of issuing a digital currency where they can control what you spend and see what you do. But again, you can issue your own currency with this. You don't have to accept the money from the government. You can have your own tokens created and exchange. You don't need a third party, a bank or a central bank institution. In the future, you won't even need dollars anymore. You will need your cryptocurrencies or your own currency for what it's worth. When you start creating your own banks, you can lend on your own money. This is where, a lot of these financial institutions will fall, will implode, and finally the lies will be exposed because they don't have the leverage anymore. They don't have the monopoly anymore. This is why they prohibited for a long time to produce alcohol. Private people shouldn't be allowed to produce alcohol on their own, right? Because hey, it's a government monopoly where they make a lot of tax money on it. If you produce it on your own and then you sell it on your own, distribute it on your own, and market it on your own, and trade it on your own, so where is the government happening there? Where is the government making money out of this, right? Now you place your company somewhere in the Caymans and kind of invest your profit into other acquisitions, and therefore it's tax deductible. Now you don't even pay taxes anymore in the future. So this is why they haven't told you about this so far. This is why they don't keep you informed. This is why they don't tell you the truth. This is why they put smoke and shadow and FUD and uncertainty and fear into your eyes, so you stay away from this technology for the most amount of time possible. And when it's too late, then they're gonna tell you, hey, we got something here. You might wanna check it out. We got this fancy Tamagotchi product. Yeah, la 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 la, illusion, bling bling bling. Buy this. And in the meantime, you're missing out on what's the actual point about this. Remember when the cell phone was becoming a thing, when the government sold the license to use the antenna of our national broadcasting companies and networks and telephone companies to make money and to ask money from us, even though we were already financing these telephone companies with our tax money? This is a pure scam. Cell phones are a pure scam if you rethink it that way. So they produce something, you have to pay taxes on that production, and then you have to pay for using it to make it, to use it in a network that you paid in the first place with your taxes to make it work. So that's complete hilarious hocus bogus what we're doing there, right? We're financing these telephone companies 3 times basically. And with crypto, with blockchain, you can even power a cell phone, right? Because of course it's just an exchange of information. So in the future, you will have cell phones that are not provided by any cell provider, not issued by any government, where the license has not been issued by any state that you finance in the first place, but you are not getting anything from it. No, you're directly connecting peer-to-peer with the person that you want to call through the blockchain. Again, this is, I think, an incredible advantage of this. And there are many, many other applications. So non-fungible tokens have become hugely popular with crypto users. And now look at this. Since June 2017, there has been a total of $25 billion spent on NFTs, including a further $21 billion in secondary sales. That means that is an overall market of $46 billion. This is bigger than certain countries on this planet. For gamers and collectors, NFTs provide an opportunity for them to become the immutable owners of in-game items and other unique assets, as well as create and monetize structures like casinos, theme parks, and virtual worlds or real worlds. They can also sell individual digital items they accrue during gameplay, such as costumes, avatars, and in-game currency on a secondary market. For artists, being able to sell artwork in digital form directly to a global audience of buyers without using an auction house or a gallery allows them to keep a significantly greater portion of their profits they make from sales. You see where this is going? Royalties can also be programmed into digital artwork, thinking about music and anything else, so that the creator receives a percentage of sales profit each time the artwork is sold to a new owner. William Shatner, best known as Captain Kirk from Star Trek, ventured into digital collectibles in 2020 and issued 19,000 digital cards on the Wax blockchain, showcasing various images of himself. Each card was initially sold for approximately $1 and now provides Shatner with passive royalty income every time one is resold. So why do NFTs have value in the first place? Because like all assets, supply and demand are the drivers for price. Due to the scarce nature of NFTs, right? There's not like an immense amount, like an infinite amount, like our currency, right? They just print money whenever they need it. No, there's a scarce quantity. It's not abundant. So people are often prepared to pay a lot of money for them. The secret, get this, right? Some NFTs also offer potential to make their owners a lot of money. For instance, one game on the Decentraland virtual land platform decided to purchase 64 lots and combine them into a single estate, dubbed The Secrets of Satoshi's Tea Garden, Satoshi being the inventor of the Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, the anonymous inventor. It sold for $80,000 purely because of its desirable location and road accesses in the digital world. And now you can buy through a variety of different platforms in the real world. You can buy those lots through the cryptocurrencies in the real world. And here we have it. An artwork piece called The Mirror was sold. It had 312,686 singular pieces, and it was shared among 28,983 different buyers for a collective price of $91.8 million. That means that a picture was a composite of 312,000 different pictures, and every single picture was sold. In total, it was shared among almost 30,000 people. So that gives us also access, a broader access to art, to culture, to variety, to information, to anything that can be created. And that means that it's decentralized, it's available, and it's not inflationary. John Doe, I used to use and work on Direct Connect P2P service and clients back in the Wild West of the net. Yes. I remember my cousin being one of the first programmers of Texas Instruments in Switzerland. And I remember these floppy disks and these keyboards, and it was crazy. We created little effects already back in the days. I was like 10 years old, maybe, right? I was truly young, and then we already kind of filmed me and kind of placed the footage into the computer and laid on top. We laid very simple, like black and white block graphics on top of the image that were like the first special effects, like laser beams out of my eyes and stuff like that. And now think of the technology, how far we have come so far. It's incredible. It's absolutely amazing. And we're gonna definitely keep you up to date of all the developments of blockchain technology and all the potential implications. I myself minted already a couple of artworks as NFTs. Definitely we're gonna also have for this channel NFTs coming out. I wouldn't say in the near future, but I'm definitely thinking of doing a COACHMC blockchain collection. We're gonna definitely also thinking about printing certificates for our courses or for unique sessions or getting like premium access to me personally, all the stuff for your companies, for your hotels, for anything that you have in mind. Blockchain technology will be the new disruptor. So be part of this incredible new world that's been hidden from you for such a long time. And they're just beginning. Absolutely. This is nothing. This is the first round. Yeah. Absolutely. It was just, they're fudding it. But in the end, like I said, they're making more money than Picasso's. That just goes to saying, in this short amount of time, the development has already been absolutely overwhelming. And I get that a lot of people are maybe checking out on this episode today. I know I didn't expect anything else. I know this is a tough one. It's completely new, but we definitely want to keep you also updated from this point of view. It's probably less entertaining, but we will also have guests in the future. I'm going to make sure that this program is also going to grow, that we're going to have some other creators, and definitely when we're going to mint our own NFTs, that you're part of this as the creative community. We're definitely going to share this as a collective adventure in the future as well. I just wanted to give you a little insights on where the world is heading, what we can do, potentially with it, what we have in mind as a society, how to improve, and also the reason why it's been hidden or it's been kind of cloaked by the bad news, the negative press, and other stories that are not really related to it, in order to hide its real purpose, its real power, and the disruptive message that it kind of stores in its core. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Slightly different than the other ones. I hope you enjoyed this new program. We have officially launched the Monday Open Class Doodles, where we're always gonna take a look into the future. Like I said, gonna cover entertainment news, latest development, stuff that is truly interesting, fascinating, also disruptive. Explorations, discoveries, all sorts of stuff. Tomorrow, Open Class Doodles is not there anymore. It's gonna be called The Sages in the Time Machine. I minted on I think it was Solana, the first network I minted it. No, I minted it on the, I'm sorry, the first NFTs I minted them on the XRPL, on the XRP ledger. The XRPL is an absolute fantastic ecosystem. 3 Sages in a Time Machine, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with Dragon Slayer commentaries and Ryan Roger Athe. Yes, I minted it on the XRPL because it's fast, the costs are very low, security is the highest. Yes, no, absolutely, that's the right way to ask it. Very good, Pat. Take a look. I have drawn Ezio Auditore and a Sylvan Elf from Lord of the Rings. I minted them as NFTs, and you can check them out on the XRPL, and if you want, also buy it, of course. And guys, any other questions, you guys just let me know. We have amazing stuff coming up for tomorrow. This new program, here it is. Look at us, beautiful people. Episode 1, the first official episode of 3 Sages in a Time Machine. Is going down. Yes, I can't get rid of these guys. Somehow they grew on me, and Yeah, there's just so much for me as well. Thank you so much. But don't worry, I will keep you updated. If you have any further questions during the other streams on Twitter, just hit me up. It's the Coach MC. Instagram, it's the Coach MC as well. I'm on TikTok as well. Definitely also look into my masterclass happening this Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be about the art of improv. Whether you're a communicator, an entertainer, performer, an actor, improv is going to be the one thing that will jumpstart. But we ripping, yes. And definitely also a great way to connect with the other members and performers of the creative community. A great way also to network. Also, this goes out to the Facebook crowd, to the Instagram crowd. Definitely jump by our next masterclass, the last before the summer break. We're gonna conclude a glorious chapter and the archive that has been, created over the last 9 months of knowledge and different tools, strategies, tips on how to, be a remarkable performer in this entertainment world. So it's gonna come to like a first ending before the summer break, and then we're gonna remodel the show a little bit. Otherwise, you're gonna definitely gonna catch me next Thursday, open class doodles, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday night, I'm gonna be part of the Saturday Night Hypnosis, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course, as well. And generally, we're trying to, of course, produce more content, record more shows, and be more out there. But I'm always also looking at the quality, guys. So this is, I don't believe this is ever going to be like a 4 videos a day type of channel. We definitely want to ramp up production. We definitely want to grind out more stories. We definitely want to tell more about, a lot of things. So our mission is to be more productive and more prolific, but also always look at the quality, because in the end, this is what helps the most. It's not the volume, it's the quality of the information. So we're trying to ramp up production at the same time. Also, if it's in the means of keeping our quality level that we are used to, and also to give the people the most genuine, the most impactful information. So forgive us for not being like incredibly prolific producers, but hey, we're still like 4 times a week. We're still there online for you, always present on the social media networks. We have a Telegram channel that you can subscribe to for the latest events, stuff that is happening in South Florida, Miami area. If you want to join us, if you want to go to one of our, great events, networking nights, and other beautiful stuff that we do so throughout the week when we're not sitting in front of a computer or working with our clients. So that it's a great opportunity to connect. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. It was a great show, talking about something completely else. We will continue looking into the future, into the past, and dealing with the present as well, because past is history. Tomorrow is mystery, but today is a gift. Yes, because it's called present for a reason, guys. So enjoy this present, inform yourself, be impactful, and carve out the very best that you can every time you get called to action. I believe this is the way and the only way of really reaching that summit point, that peak performance, and being remarkable and recognized and becoming that linchpin in your area of expertise. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being around. Thanks so much to Pat, John Doe. Take care of everyone here. Thank you so much, Rosita, stopping by. Robin, it was great. To the Facebook, Instagram crowd as well. Again, see you tomorrow. And now you're ready to perform.